How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 18 of the Orange Thumbstick Podcast. I am Dave, and as always, I am joined by Russ. How are you, fella?
As always, mate, I am absolutely fantastic. Yourself?
Very well, yes, I'm over the moon. Bobby, how are you?
Not too bad, mate, not too bad.
Excellent. I'm very happy this week, as you guys will already know from the photo that I sent you yesterday. My Elite controller turned up from Microsoft. Hurrah!
Really?
So I've now got my Elite controller back, which is very good. It's all pristine and nice. They actually sent me some new attachments as well, which is very kind of them. So I've got spare attachments for it, which is very good.
Nice.
So, yeah, over the moon this week. So that's all good. Yeah, we've got a few things to go through this week. We've got some Far Cry news, we've got some Red Dead news, and we've got, it seems like it's repeating all the time, but more microtransaction stuff going on with EA. But first of all, what have you been playing?
What have I played this week? We've been playing with usual, like GTA 5 I have with Russ, and I've been playing Peggle.
I noticed you've been playing Peggle. Why?
We downloaded Army of Two, and we got dead excited to play it again because I smashed it on the Xbox 360, but there was still some achievements there, and I said to us, let's go on and get them. And we booted it up, we were getting dead excited to play it, and then realised the servers weren't there, and I Googled it and found out they were taken down in like 2014 or something like that, or 2016, and I got all upset. So I started looking at what backwards compat games I had available, and Peggle was there. So I decided to give it a go, and then became addicted to it, and then got the missus playing it. She became addicted to it, and I've spent the week playing Peggle on my Xbox One X. Not something I thought I'd ever say.
So you've got this ultimate 4K beast of a machine that you're playing Peggle on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone to their own. Russ, what have you been on?
Oh, a bit of everything, mate. Little Triangle is probably the main game I've played this week. It's a game that's coming out this week as the podcast goes out. Can't really say too much. It's got a bit of an embargo on it, but keep your eye out for the video and the review. Okay. Hopefully that'll be up by the end of the week.
Excellent. I've been on UFC 3. Yeah, Sports UFC 3 for the last few days or so, so my review should be going up for that soon. It may already be up by the time the podcast goes out, so check out the website and just see if it's up there. There's been a fair bit of news this week. Compared to previous weeks, it's a little bit of I wouldn't say a downer, but it's not typical news, I suppose. I'm going to start off with the Far Cry stuff. Far Cry 5 had its season pass announced. It's obviously going to include all additional story content, DLC, that you might expect from your typical Ubisoft release. But interestingly, they've also announced that Far Cry 3 will be part of that season pass. So anybody that purchases the season pass will get Far Cry 3 Classic, as they're calling it. Russ, you're a big Far Cry fan, but you never got a chance to play 3, did you?
I didn't know, and that is the one I wish I did, was what I've been told. It's one of the best villains. What's his name? Is it Vaz, the villain in that one?
Vaz, yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. It is my favourite Far Cry game out of the lot. When I played Far Cry 4, it wasn't too dissimilar to 3. I thought it was a bit of an extension to 3. There wasn't much difference between the two, except sort of like the main villain, and the villain in 4 was okay, but compared to Vass, he was fairly weak.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because we've spoken about season passes and DLC and things before. What's interesting about this is that not only have Ubisoft announced what you're going to be getting in the season pass before the game's release, which is quite rare when season passes are announced, but they're also giving what is essentially a backwards compatible title with it as well. So I've got a couple of questions for you guys, and I just want to get your opinions on this. In terms of season passes going forward, do you think that this might start a trend for previous games in maybe a series that may be getting thrown in free? Can you see that happening?
I hope so.
Yes,
Because then it would make
it's
the
an
season pass
incentive as
better
well
value.
for those that have never played a franchise to get involved, thinking, "Oh, I'll stay away from this one because it's the third, fourth one in the series, whatever, you know." But then to be given the very first one to sort of, "Oh, I'll give it a go because I can play the first one just to see what it's all about, and then crack on with the next one." So yeah, I see it as an incentive for those that have never been in with a franchise to give it a go.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good. I think it adds extra value to the season pass, and as you said, Russ, it also gives people an opportunity to play a game that isn't available on current gen hardware that maybe they wanted to. And as I said, in my opinion, it is only my opinion, Far Cry 3 is probably the best game in the series so far. But what is confusing about the announcement of this Far Cry 3 Classic, is there is no mention of it being remastered at all. So I just wondered, is it just going to be a standard backwards compatible version, or do you think they'll remaster it and tidy it up a little bit? Because as good as the game was, the frame rate was very, very inconsistent, I could say. Ran at an average 20 frames per second when it was targeting 30. So I just wondered, do you think it would be a remaster, or do you think it would just be a BC version?
I think backwards compat, with it being called the Classic Edition.
But the original Far Cry was classic, wasn't it? But it was slightly remastered. It was spruced up a little bit. Do you remember the original very first Far Cry?
Yeah, the very first Far Cry.
Got released.
Got a re-release.
Got re-released, didn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what they do with it. I hope it gets a little bit of a remaster because it deserves it. But I also hope, with the whole, season pass thing and everything else, to see that they're throwing in something else with it, and maybe that could be a trend going forward. But Far Cry 5, I'm really excited for. I'm sure you guys are as well.
Definitely.
Yep. It looks fantastic. I caught the story trailer of it, and it just looks really, really good. The main villain looks like CM Punk, though, don't you think?
Well, I automatically love it if it does. I'm a big CM Punk fan.
Yeah, it's the main villain looks very much like CM Punk. Every time I watch it, I just see CM Punk going like mad and killing everyone. It's crazy. Moving on then. Yeah, we're going to talk about Rockstar now, Bobby. I'm really sorry. But I'm not too displeased by this. I think it's a good thing. But Red Dead Redemption 2 has been delayed again. It's been given a specific release date of the 26th of October 2018. Anybody that's familiar or has been following Red Dead Redemption 2, it was due for release the Christmas just gone, but not long before it did actually get an announcement to say it had been delayed until spring 2018. That has now been extended to October, and I've got a quote here from the Rockstar website. Representative released a statement on their website and said, and I quote, "We're excited to announce that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be released on October 26, 2018. We apologise to everyone disappointed by this delay. While we had hopes to have the game out sooner, we require a little extra time for polish. We sincerely thank you for your patience and hope that when you get to play the game, you will agree the wait will have been worth it. In the meantime, please check out these screenshots from the game. We look forward to sharing a lot more information with you in the coming weeks." So, along with that statement, they did release some new screenshots for the game. It looks gorgeous. It looks fantastic. What do you reckon? I mean, we've said before, haven't we? We don't mind this. If it makes the game better, we're all for it. Do you think it's anything to do with... I mean, they've said there it's polishing the game, but do you think maybe it's something to do with the online as well? Maybe they don't want to have the issues that Grand Theft Auto had, maybe?
Possible.
Yeah, well, obviously there's a load of hiccups, wasn't there? So hopefully the reason that they're knocking it back is so that they can set it up. Being completely honest, they're not going to be able to have an extremely smooth transition when it's released because of the size of the game and the amount of people that are going to get it. There's going to be hiccups, but hopefully they can iron out as many as possible with the extra months they've given themselves.
Yeah. I just feel sorry for any developer stroke publisher who had scheduled their release for the 26th of October or anywhere around that, because they're just going to be holding their head in their hands now. Who's going to want to go up against Rockstar and Red Dead Redemption 2 at that time of the year? Nobody. Not even Activision with Call of Duty, or EA with their inevitable Battlefield game that's going to be released this year. No one is going to want to go up against that game. So it's going to be interesting to see whether up and coming games sort of scheduled to release in that window
shift releases, yeah.
Shift, yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. But Red Dead Redemption 2, we're all looking forward to that. I can't wait. I love Rockstar. I love them so very much, along with Ubisoft now.
That's kibosh on anything Bobby wanted to say, yeah.
Yeah, I got in there first. Because I could almost hear like the cogs in his head going around, what can I say about Rockstar? What can I say? But I got in there first, Bobby. Sorry.
Yeah, you do. It was when you were saying that the screenshots look beautiful and fantastic, I was going to say, what else do they look like, Dave? But I thought I'd just leave you to it.
But they do. Have you not seen them? The screenshots.
I haven't seen them, no.
So good. So good. I mean, I just can't imagine what that's going to look like on the mid-gen cycles, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. I'm sure they're going to look fantastic. Okay, moving on to something that really pisses me off, and that's microtransactions. Russ, you called this late last year when they announced that they were taking it away, and when you said it, we all kind of went, yeah, actually, we could pretty much see that now that that's going to happen. So last year, EA, basically, they took their microtransactions out of Star Wars Battlefront because the community basically went apeshit and said, we're not having this, it's not fair, you're just trying to squeeze every spare penny that everybody's got in a pay-to-win formula in their game. We've just got confirmation this week that EA are to relaunch their microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this comes after they announced a shortfall in sales, around about 1 million to 1.5 million sales down on their quarterly quota, basically. I'm going to read out a quote here. EA CEO Andrew Wilson made the following comments. Going forward, we believe that live services that include optional digital monetization, when done right, provide a very important element of choice that can extend and enhance the experience of our games. We also continue to say that we're committed to continually working with our players to deliver the right experience in each of our games and live services. You guys can see my comment at the bottom of that on the brief notes for the podcast. Pardon my French, but what a load of shit.
I've just noticed your little note at the bottom there.
Yeah, I mean,
of shit.
What he's basically saying is we want to make bucket loads more money, so sorry, microtransactions are coming back because nobody bought the game. Nobody bought their game because they put microtransactions in a play-to-win formula that is associated with free-to-play games. The difference here is that EA were charging $60, £50 for essentially a free-to-play model.
Yeah.
People got pissed off, didn't they? So they removed it to make themselves look like the good guy, as Russ highlighted sort of last year.
Yep.
What does this mean going forward, guys? Honestly, I want your sort of raw opinion on this. So I'm going to start with you, Bobby.
I've got the same opinion that you have, Dave. As soon as I seen that this was on the agenda for the podcast, I just let out a big sigh. The way that they've done the full microtransaction process with BF2, Star Wars BF2, has been just, pardon me French, but it's been a load of shit. And now they're doing exactly what Russ said they would do. They'd relaunch it later, and they're doing it because they're saying 1 million sales down. They have to remember that whoever has set these targets hasn't factored in, like what you said, that they knacked everything at the start, and also that there's been some more popular games released since then, which has probably caught other people's eyes rather than wanting to buy this game that's been slagged off because they handled the microtransactions terribly. So now they're just, it's like you say, they're trying to pull the money back, and they're doing it. They've done everything the complete wrong way and ruined it. And moving forward for them, my personal opinion is I'm not interested in them at all because of what they've done. It's not something that I wouldn't go and buy the game now because of the way they've done that. Other people are different. There's hardcore players of it who love it, but I'm more about the overall experience of the game whilst you're playing it, and like obviously what you see online, content being created and things like that. So when I've seen everyone crying, not just content creators, just the general public crying about the game, it's like, right, well, that's a red flag for me. And they've got too many microtransactions in anyways, so you know.
Yeah. Russ, what about you, man? Your opinion.
My opinion, what they've done is they've waited for it to die down a little bit, just like I said. The players that were absolutely peed off with the game have disappeared and they're not interested anymore, so they're banking on the people that have stuck around with the game to claw back this money that they've so-called lost. Now, if anybody from EA is listening to this, if you'd have put your game out as that one single price that everybody has to pay, no microtransactions, you wouldn't have had the bad press that you got. You probably would have sold way more copies than what you sold, and you'd have had more in your bank than that 1 million that you've lost. And that's what I'm saying on it.
I agree with you there, Russ. They brought it back, and you know that was always their plan. I don't think it was their plan to bring it back this soon. I think they've thrown a massive hissy fit because the game hasn't sold what they expected. Now, the original Star Wars Battlefront that was released a couple of years ago, that had sold 14 million copies by this point. Star Wars Battlefront 2 has sold 9 million. So in effect, they're 5 million copies behind. Yeah. So they've thrown the toys out the pram and gone, this isn't good enough. We need more money. Let's launch the microtransactions before we were scheduled to. Let's relaunch them now. And the thing is, it's a free-to-play model that they are charging 50 quid for. And that was their massive issue. Star Wars Battlefront 2 released at a very, very premium price point. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that game anywhere under 50 quid, anywhere. Even even in the supermarkets, it was like 50, 55 quid. You know, and then you've got other games that are probably just as good, if not better. You know, Titanfall 2, for example, 12 quid. I know it's a slightly different game, but quality-wise, Titanfall 2 is a far better game to play, in my opinion. It's not riddled with microtransactions, and it's not forcing you to pay even more money to play it. Mm-hmm. They've literally thrown their toys out the pram here, and they're penalising the community because they've got the wrong people making bad decisions in their corporation. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that.
This is it, isn't it? It's become about the money, hasn't it? Rather than creating a product for people to enjoy, it's turned into just a cash grab for the people higher up.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's pretty much said that. You know, about the fact that they've announced the shortfall in sales. It just is just a coincidence that it happens to fall in line with, and by the way, we're relaunching microtransactions. No, they've done that because they're short sales. It's simple as that. And this quote here, going forward, we believe that live services that include optional digital monetization, when done right, provide very important element of choice. What a load of cock that is. That's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Well, let's be honest, though.
I'm sorry.
When done right, if there's a way of doing it right, then they should have done it right in the first place, shouldn't they? Then they won't be in the position they was in. So, jog on.
Let's remember, though, these are the guys that brought out an online pass that you had to buy to try and corner the pre-owned market. So, nothing surprises us with them now.
Yeah, they always seem to, weren't they?
Yeah, they always seem to want to do something different and make a cock of it, and then backtrack. And it's like, why can't you just go with making good games, decent content, and your games are good? You just keep cocking it up with everything, all the extras you're trying to make on the side. Yeah,
that's the way it is.
I mean, I was going to buy that game day one. I was going to buy it because I enjoyed the first one. You know, as hollow and as sort of it was missing a campaign and whatever else. You know, I enjoyed the game. The core game was good. So with this one having, you know, bigger maps, a more widespread sort of look at the cinematic universe of Star Wars, more options to, what maps you can go into, and the fact that it had a campaign. It was a day one purchase for me all along until they introduced these microtransactions, and then I thought, no, I've boycotted the game. I'm going to continue to boycott the game, and I won't be buying this at all. And this is going to do nothing but harm the sales of the game. I'm sorry. It's just going to harm it completely. And we touched on it last week. BioWare announced that they've delayed Anthem until next year. I said it last week. I believe that's because of the microtransaction model. Some of it's probably got to do with polishing the game up, but I truly believe that they are re-evaluating the microtransaction model, and I think Anthem will be an early 2019, maybe spring 2019 release. It probably would have been scheduled to release Christmas this year, but I think they've delayed it because of this. I really do. But it doesn't fill many people with confidence. EA have already got a bad name, have they not? For this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they go and do this.
It's a case of, as I tried to touch on earlier, the people that were complaining have probably already ditched the game, so they're trying to come back in and just count on the market that's sticking with the game to pay for their shortfalls. But it needs those people that have boycotted the game and have voiced their opinions, because quite a few people have. There's quite a few high-end YouTubers that have voiced their opinions on this sort of stuff. They need to stay at it. It's the only way the industry is going to change. The customer needs to keep voicing their opinions and to be heard and to be... You can see some shift in some other companies that have took note of this and have decided to slightly alter the way they do things. I think Ubisoft, for example, as we spoke about earlier on, a slight shift in their sort of microtransaction-y sort of stuff, the season pass sort of stuff has all been announced, what you're going to get straight away. As you said earlier on, they don't normally do that.
Yeah.
Plus including a free game as well. People are taking note, and it's going to be a struggle, but as long as the gamers that are paying for all this keep sticking to their guns and boycotting it and voicing their opinions about it, it will go back to the way it should be.
Yeah. By which time EA could have lost the license for Star Wars, because it is up for renewal soon. As I said towards the end of last year, they had the IP.
Yeah.
I believe they had a 10-year deal that they had originally. I think it was 2010 that they agreed the deal. So the deal's up in 2020, but they have a review 2 years before, I believe, so that's due this year. I know that there's reports out there that Disney aren't happy about this. I don't know for sure. Nothing's really come out of it that's concrete. But this could really lose EA, one of the biggest licenses around in gaming at the moment. And yes, you're right, Ubisoft have reevaluated the way they do it. The microtransactions in Assassin's Creed Origins, for example, you can buy Helix credits to get the extras and whatever else. But the difference with that is they do not impact the game. They're all cosmetic. And I think the big thing is as well, PUBG, when that released, it didn't have the best release. It was a bit, people were saying it was broken, it was this, it was that, but it was still getting played and it was still fairly fun to play. Now, that was a 25 quid game that it was just, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is just cosmetics in that, isn't it? Is that right?
But even that, it's just credits you earn from playing the game. There's no
It's credits
money
that you earn from playing the game.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's no extra money being thrown into that. So when you're looking at a game with that sort of aspect, where it's online, team-based, solo-based, whatever, multiplayer, you look at PUBG and you look at Star Wars Battlefront, they're different ends of the scale. And I think EA's arrogance is shining a little bit with this, because they think that by putting microtransactions in, it's going to make people love them again. That's not the case.
Yep.
No. I mean, it's like this other argument.
It's just really frustrating.
The other argument that the games are costing more to make. Well, if games are costing more to make, stick another tenner on top of the price of the game. We'll pay it if we want to play it. At the end of the day, we will. If you want to bump a game up to 70 quid, and that's all we've got to pay for it, and the game's good enough, players and gamers will pay that money to play your game. End of story. There'll be no arguing, there'll be no bitching, backfighting, whatever, about microtransactions. Just get rid of them. Put the price of your game up. The games haven't gone up in price for years, have they? And if they're moaning now that it's the cost of producing them that's why they're putting microtransactions in, then put the base cost of your game up. End of story. We'll pay it.
Well, I might have said this before, but apparently gaming now, to make a game, it costs as much as it does to make a Hollywood blockbuster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's compare the two here, right? Now, a Hollywood blockbuster film, let's say, for example, one of the Marvel films that's also owned by Disney. Let's even say a Star Wars film, right? So Disney have got this massive Star Wars film in production. Let's say Star Wars Episode 9, right? They're making this film and they release it at the cinema, but they're saying, right, for your ticket, it's going to cost you 12 quid for your ticket, but if you want to see all the scenes with Luke Skywalker, you've got to pay an extra 3 quid.
Yeah.
If you want to see all the scenes with Chewbacca, it's an extra 2 quid. Hollywood don't do that.
No.
They don't release a film on Blu-ray and go, right, for all your deleted scenes, we're going to charge you this. For all the outtakes, we're going to charge you this. For all your featurettes and making of documentaries, we're going to charge you this. They don't do any of that. So if it's just as expensive to make a game as it is to make Hollywood blockbuster movie, then I don't get it. You're charging more for a game to start with, so it's 45, 50 quid on average.
Yep.
To buy a film on disc, it's 15 quid. So I don't get it. Do you understand where I'm coming from with this now?
Yeah.
It's completely just... they can't go, oh, they're expensive to make. It costs a lot of money. So do films.
It's true.
Stop your moaning. Stop being greedy.
Yep. Very, very true.
That's all it boils down to. It's pure greed. And I don't agree with it. Greedy. Anyway. Moving on. We are into the third week of our brand new feature. So, it's time for... Bobby Fails presents Something for the Weekend.
Yep, this week in Something for the Weekend, we're going to take a look at Nightmares from the Deep 3, Davy Jones.
Ah, me hearties. Oh!
Was that a pirate leprechaun?
Hello, me hearties.
The game released on the 2nd of February 2018, priced at £11.99 or $14.99, which is €14.99. It is the final chapter of the fantastic pirate trilogy, and obviously it follows a story of the mythical being known as Davy Jones. If you don't know who Davy Jones is, he is an undead pirate who controls the seas. I don't want to go too much into the game itself and give the story away, because as you all know, if you've played any Artifacts Monday games, they do have a good little story to them. It is a point-and-click puzzle sort of adventure game. Definitely worth checking out, and with the prices being so cheap, it gives you hours of fun. I know it has 2 game modes. To simplify it, it has normal and hard. But yeah, check it out. It's a really fun game, and it's definitely worth a look at.
Wonderful. I threw you off course a little bit then, didn't I, Bob, with me?
You did, yes.
Me Pirate Leprechaun.
You Pirate Leprechaun.
Brilliant, fantastic, lovely stuff. Yeah, Russ, do you want to plug website, social media, and video channels?
Yep, so head over to xboxgamerreviews.com to check out all our videos and the latest news, and giveaways too. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Xbox_GR, Facebook.com/XboxGamerReviews, and of course, head over to YouTube to check out all our videos. That's YouTube.com/XboxGamerReviews.com.
Fantastic. Russ, do you want to tell the good listeners about what we were talking about off air, about the special Game Blast thing that we've got?
Yeah, so we did mention a couple of weeks ago we are taking part in Game Blast again this year, and this year we do have a ID at Xbox controller pillow, so an Xbox One controller pillow with ID at Xbox stitched into it, and we will be auctioning that off during one of our streams for Game Blast, which is the 23rd to the 25th of February. So if you want to go, head over to mixer.com/Xbox Gamer Reviews, give us a follow, and you'll get notifications when we go live.
Yeah, these pillows are incredibly rare. You cannot buy them.
You cannot buy them.
You aren't able to buy them. Yes, but we are auctioning one off. That is fantastic. Big thank you to IDX. That is wonderful stuff. Fantastic. So I think that wraps up this week. Thanks everybody, as always, for listening. And if you're not a subscriber on iTunes, Android or YouTube, please subscribe. We do really appreciate it. And we will catch you next week. See you later.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.